First of all, camp was great. It was definitely a time for us to build and see what kids are going to step up this year. Definitely excited about this upcoming season just based off of how we performed in camp. Compared to last year, it's definitely a step up, and like I said, we're very excited for this upcoming game on Thursday. Very excited to play against this defense, this Utah defense. They definitely have some guys that are coming back that are going to make some plays, but at the same time we do as well. And it's going to be a great matchup, and hopefully we can come out with a win.
Was the camp this year, you say it's better, or was it because there are more experienced guys, your third year doing it? What do you think led to that? I mean, we'd think that somewhat, even though it was the same coach, Matt Wells, you got different guys, kind of the coordinators and things like that might be a little bit different. It wasn't?
I mean, yeah, the new coordinators and the new faces as far as the coaching staff were different, but we've had a spring with them, so they kind of understand how we are, our personalities, our play style, and on top of that, we still have Coach Wells is still carrying down what we've been doing the past 2 years. So that's a big first step. Another thing is everyone was buying into the attitude and the amount of effort that was needed this entire camp. This was actually one of the tougher camps we've had, toughest one I've been a part of since I've been here. But at the same time, everyone decided to buy into the program and take care of their bodies, get to bed a little bit earlier than they did in the past, and at the end of the day, produce results. The scrimmages were a lot better than they were in the past years, I think, and a lot of guys stepped up, and I think we developed a little bit more depth than we had originally.
Looking at this Utah defense, Trevor Riley probably highlights it. Talk about him and going against the likes of him.
First of all, he definitely has a size. He's a big kid. He's very athletic for his size as well, and he's going to be the anchor. He's going to be the heart of that team or of that defense, and you can definitely see it not only in his experience but the way he plays on and off the field. You can just tell he kind of carries himself as the captain of that defense, and but at the same time we have to go after their captain just because. I mean, I'm sure they're going to try and do the same thing to me and to Tyler Larson. And, I mean, you really have to take out the heart of the team, or in this case, the defense. And we're not solely basing it off him just because I know they have a lot of other players on that team that are great defensively. And it's going to be a fun one. I think it's going to be a battle, but we just have to play our game and play all 4 quarters in order to come out with the win.
When you think back to last year's game against Utah, how would you have evaluated? It seemed to me, just watching, one of the harder games to move the ball against an opponent that you had last year. It would be in the top. It would be in the top 3 or 4 tougher games to move against them, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. That's one thing about every single season. The second game of the season is always the hardest one, just because first one it's kind of like nobody knows what to expect, but the second game. Everyone makes the most amount of adjustments going into the second game. So I think that credited a lot to why it was so tough for us to move the football. But at the same time, we had a lot of pieces that we still didn't have highlighted or that we're still kind of missing. And that was definitely a stepping stone that we needed last year in order to have a successful season throughout the rest of the year. And I mean, having to play them first game this year is not only a good. Not just good for our morale and for our momentum, but it's definitely going to give us a lot of pride, and it's going to, I think, carry us a little bit going into these next 4 games.
You've had a lot of big plays, but how does the overtime play with you running the ball down to the 1-yard line, how does that rank in your mind as one of the plays you've made?
Really, I haven't really thought about it as far as ranking. I'll tell you what, I had Matt Austin and DJ in front of me, and neither one of them touched anybody. So it could have been a touchdown, but it's no big deal. It was an exciting play to have. I'm happy I was a part of it, and I think that kind of showed a little bit of what I was able to do, and it kind of set the tone for the rest of that year. But it's a new year. Maybe I'll get some blocks next time and score, but hopefully it doesn't have to come down to that exact same situation as well.
What do you expect Joe Hill's going to do this year?
Joe Hill, I'm expecting big things out of him as always. He's one of those kids that is shy, off the field. Well, not shy. I'm sorry. He's quiet. He's reserved off the field, but as soon as he gets on, he's a character, and he's one of those kids that just explodes out onto the scene. And he's definitely going to take off on some guys this year. And it's going to be fun to stand behind there, hand it off, or hopefully throw it to him and let him run for a touchdown.
Tell us what you see in your receivers.
In the receivers, I'm seeing a lot of guys who are definitely trying to step up. They've definitely been working hard this entire summer and this entire fall camp. The timing between myself and them, and as well as the other quarterbacks, has gotten very, very well, and it's pretty precise now, which is a big thing, especially when you're playing against a team who's going to play man, like we kind of expect Utah to do, but just based off of what they showed at the end of last season. So once again, timing is an incredible piece to an offense, especially ones that are trying to throw the football, and they're definitely going to show up this year.
Thinking about 2 years ago going into Auburn, hostile territory, it's kind of a similar season opener this year going into hostile territory, big statement game. Does it kind of take you back to where you've been over the last 2 years and how you've changed?
I really try not to think about the past too much, but it's definitely going to be it's going to be a little bit hostile. I know that for a fact, just because we came out with the win last year. But I mean, it's still an ordinary game. I mean, no matter where you're going, there's always going to be a hostile crowd. Some are just a little bit more hostile than others, and it's kind of what I'm expecting out of this game. But it's something that we prepare for. It's college football, and you can't really expect anything normal. But one of the normal things is to have a crazy crowd whenever you're playing away.
I know it's not a conference game, but what do you see as the stakes of this game? What do you stand to gain from winning this?
This game is, I think it's going to be kind of like a tone setter for the rest of our season. I know it's only the first game, but I mean, every single game has its own amount of, has its own weight, I guess. And so this one is a huge one. First of all, it's an in-state rival, and then on top of that, I mean, the first game gives you momentum throughout the next, at least the second game, and second game goes to the third one. So I think it's going to be a big, what? I think it's going to be big for our motivation and our morale for the rest of the year.
Where are you better now? What did you do from last season to now that you're better at?
Really just run the offense, not trying to do anything too special. Just because this offense allows you to do it on its own as long as you stay within the system. And that's one thing that I kind of got away from last year, and that's why I had some of the mistakes that I did as far as throwing picks, and I take it wholeheartedly on myself. And I think this past camp has definitely helped me as far as staying true to the playbook and allowing the playmakers to make more plays than I have to myself. And, I mean, whenever the moment presents itself, then I'll have the opportunity and I'll take the opportunity to make a play, but the offense provides its own way for special players to make special plays, and I'm good with being a part of that.
I think you said something somewhere about one of the things that has been worked on, tweaking things, is tightening your delivery or your throwing motion or something. Can you explain what you meant by that?
Yeah, last year and towards the end of last season, or towards the end of the year before that, going into spring and all that, my throwing motion got a little bit long. Just my arm was dipping a lot. I kind of had a Tebow type of release when he first got into the league, and that's not really what I wanted to have. I mean, there are a lot of problems that didn't happen that could have happened. And, I mean, one play was last year against Utah, actually. They got a forced fumble, and that was in part of me having my long delivery. So it's definitely been a focus point to tighten it up a little bit and hopefully get the ball out faster. And once again, it's going to help out with timing with the receivers and ultimately to help beat defenses.
Does that mean like winding up or
Yeah,
just keeping it close?
Pretty much. It was more of like a baseball type of delivery instead of a football throw, and it's not really something that you want to have in this game, especially when you have big D linemen and D ends and outside linebackers come to hunt your head.
How has it been working with Coach McGivern, and what has he worked on with you, and how's that relationship developing?
Yeah, it's been a great relationship so far. Definitely look forward to building it a little bit more. He's once again, he's kept me within our system. That's first of all, and on top of that, he's allowed me to learn a lot more about our system. I mean, I know with Coach Wells, he was a very thorough coach, but Coach McGiven is now, he knows where I'm at now as far as our offense and knowing kind of our basic things, and now he's teaching me a little bit more about blocking schemes and defensive fronts, which is a little bit tougher to do. But he's also given me some tips as far as how to see some blitzes against our defense, which is tough at times because they throw out whatever they want to, and at the end of the day, we just have to react.